My niece has asked me to make a video of string changing, so I'm going to try to do this quick. First thing is I like to loosen them up before I cut them. I'm getting right to it. I should have everything I need right here in my guitar case right now. I have a new set of strings. I keep ooh, see, that one just broke just now, just loosening it, so perfect. It's a good thing because ow, they're gonna poke you. But I'm changing these a little in advance before I have a show coming up pretty soon. That way I have time to oh god, I have so much junk in here. I got time to play them in, stretch them in. You'd be amazed at how hard you can stretch your strings. So a pair of pliers like these, needle nose with clippers. These clippers will cut strings super easy. Boom. You almost got to have them. So I'm going to a lot of people will say, oh, don't cut them all at once. Just cut them. Cut them all. Don't cut them. Let me show you where I'm cutting them. Okay. I'm cutting them, leaving this much. Because if you cut them too close to the bridge, then sometimes you can have trouble feeding them back through the guitar to get them out of the guitar. Okay? So, I got my headphones in, even though I don't know why. So I'm going to take them all off, and I want you to notice how easily they come off, because nobody in their right mind uses a luthier knot. Don't do it. You'll regret it, and anybody that you ever have change your strings will hate your guts. So don't use a luthier knot. Just take all these stupid strings off. There we go. Nothing fancy about it. This guitar gets played in some pretty nasty environments. Not super bad, but not super good. So I'm going to throw all those strings off to the side. I'm going to take the ends out. See, I'm just pushing them down through, and I know they're going to come out the back here. If your guitar is not string through, they'll just come out the back of the bridge, whatever. I leave the plate off the back side of my guitar because in the middle of a show, I keep a spare guitar, but if I bust a string, I'm going to grab my second guitar, and then during a break, I will change a string on this baby, because it took me there's nothing special about this guitar. It's a Strat copy, but I got, oh god, I don't even know how many. So one of the things, hold on. So you want to clean your fretboard off with a nice clean cloth. It's not super dirty, so I don't have to do a lot. If it was really grungy, you would get in there with like a toothpick and scrape. You can get a lot of finger butter or, fudge in there. You scrape on either side of the fretboard with a toothpick or with some little device that you feel comfortable with not scratching your fretboard with. So I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, oh yeah, I bought a ton of guitars. I used to have a guitar that was my baby, and I lost it. It was stolen. No, that one I gave it away in a fit of insanity. But so I really loved that guitar, and amazing. I have 3 or 4 Strat type guitars, but this one does it. There's no magic sauce, I think, that you can necessarily put together, even though they make them all to the same specs. Some just do it and some don't, and this one does it. It does it all day long. It stays in tune, at least for me, So before I get talking too much, untangle the strap. There we go. since I have the strings off, I'm trying to rub some of the show fudge off it. And actually, probably the worst color you can have for a guitar is white, because it flashes. If you're trying to get photography, it flashes horrible colors. You know, the flash reflects too much and it's too bright. But oh well. Some of the more prominent guitarists you might know of, and some of the most famous guitars, you'll find that the first thing they did when they bought the guitar was scuff them up with sandpaper to get the shiny finish off them, so they don't glare too much on stage and on camera. That's the truth of the matter. You get up close to them and they're ugly. So I can't stress how important this is. Okay, this is your nut. This right here is your nut. Now, your nut needs to be cut right. The guitar, Alyssa, that I'm showing you this for is cut right, so you don't need to do anything. But this is oh boy, am I fat. This is a regular old number 2 pencil. And just where the strings go through, just rub a little bit of the lead on the slot where your strings go through. There is graphite. I'm using 2 hands so I don't. This will might make your guitar look a little bit dirty. Oh, I'm so sorry it's dirty. But it's going to lubricate your strings in your nut slot. And there are a few things more important to tuning stability than having your strings not bind in your nut slot. Here is another solution. I'm a spoiled princess of a guitar player now, and this is a Music Nomad Tune It nut lube. And so just the tiniest little dab of this. Where did it go? Where is it? Where's the camera? Haha! Where's the camera? Hi, camera. Camera's over here. Okay, so the tiniest dab of this stuff. I can barely see it. Tiniest dab of this stuff. Not really set up for making videos. But so here, right, in my nut slots, and now I'm getting graphite on it too, but that was a pretty good, 2 pinhead sized blob. More than I need, really, actually. But that's what I do. Another thing I do and I use is a product called Dr. Duck's Axe Wax. And it's a general lubricant. I've heard people use WD-40. Dr. Duck's Axe Wax you would use to treat your fretboard. This fretboard's not dry, and it's kind of sealed in a way where it doesn't really get dry so much. I think it may even, it appears that it might be roasted maple. That might be part of why this thing's so stable. But so here's another product that I use a lot, and it's another, I'm not trying to pump anyone, but it's another Music Nomad product. It is string fuel, and it goes on this, and you rub it on your strings, and it lubricates your strings when you're playing. But it also makes a nice fretboard oil. So this thing's wet. I keep it wet in here. It's like finger ease, But you can also, because it's such a great product, you can lubricate your saddles. You don't need to do that very often. You could use vegetable oil. Honestly, you can use anything you want. I've heard people use WD-40. I was surprised to hear that, but it's not uncommon. So there, I treated my fretboard a little bit. I've lubed my nut. One of the things, let me tell you this real quick. On a new guitar, these 10mm nuts are going to sink into the wood. So the first few string changes, you're going to want to get a wrench and tighten those just a little bit. Not a lot. You don't want to crank on them. You'll split this wood in a heartbeat because you've got 6 of them in line here, okay? But just, ooh, they're, ooh, you know, so they're not loose. Just a tiny bit of snug. And make sure they're not loose. And the screws on the ends of these tuners, if the tuners are binding and too hard to turn, or they seem any one of them is too hard to turn, loosen it. And if it's too loose and you're like, geez, this string keeps going flat, it keeps going loose, there's a good chance that the tuning peg is a little bit too loose and it's not presenting enough resistance, and your peg might actually be unwinding. Okay, that's a possibility. Now, getting right to a string change with 6 in line, this being the low E and this being the high E. Man, there ain't much room here. Low E, high E. I like to start on the low E, because getting your fingers into where the string is much easier if you start on the low E. And if you have a 3 and 3, you do the low E, the D, excuse me, the low E, the A, and the D, and then go and do the other side, do the high E, the B, and the G that way, and you'll find it accessible. I also like to, I just put all my holes, every single one of my string holes on my peg is in line where I can see right through it from where I'm standing, sitting right here, so that I'm not going to fight to be able to get my string fed through it, right? So I can see through that hole. A lot of times I need my glasses. I might need to grab them. These are hybrid slinkies. I like these. A lot of players play 10s, and the string choice has a lot to do with the amount of tension that's on your neck, pulling it this way, like, oh, it's pulling, the strings are pulling the neck this way. 10s, they're usually like 10 through 48 or 10 through 52. They present a certain amount of tension on that neck. I like 9s, they're lighter. But 9s don't stabilize a guitar as well, in my opinion, at least some guitars. It depends on the guitar, but based on the fact that there's less tension on the neck. So you've got the truss rod in there trying to do this with the neck, and then you've got the strings going, ugh, right? You've got them fighting each other, and when you have adequate, ample tension in each direction, you get a very stable neck, in my opinion. So I use the hybrids. I've got 9s to 46. So it's 46, 36, 26, and they are on this guitar. That's what I use, and that presents a fatter, beefier, thicker wound string. You get a little more bass response, a little more funky, chunky. And all right, now I've just fed the string through the first saddle, and as I pull it through, I'm gonna crease it a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna pull it out, and I like to hold it tense the whole way. There's a lot of theories on how to do this, but I like to do it like this. And what I'm gonna do is hold it down here and go 1 wrap. I'll push it down, and that's all you can get. 1 and then a half, because I'm coming back around it. Okay, now then I pull it tight like that. From here, that's 1.5 wraps. These are on the wounds. On the unwound, especially the the G, the B, and the E. On the unwound, I'm gonna wrap it more. But on these wound strings, and now at this point, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. I'll show you. I do it with my hand usually. Take a pair of pliers and don't fool around with this process. Right? Yoink it. Make it tight. And you see how I kinked it? I'm going to kink that thing. Alright? So that it's not going to slip back through. Now I'm going to tighten it. What I've done is I've kinked the end right in the opposite direction of where it wound. So it wound this way, came through, and I kink it when I get it tight. There's an E string. Now, watch this. Joe will also show you this. Look at me. See how I'm yoinking these things up? I am yoinking this heavy string. Here, Hear how much flatter it is? I'm gonna do it again. I'm stretching them. And there. See how much less it dropped that second time I stretched it? Notice I'm holding it in the nut so that I'm not yanking it all over the place, and I'm not going to break my nut. I'm holding it down with my thumb in the nut and then pulling. See how it almost didn't drop at all? Boom, stretched. All right, now I'm going to take this end, take my nippers, go right to the top of the peg. Done. Right? That's one string on. That's one string on. Okay. Now, just for you, I'm going to do my G string. Watch me screw this up, because you don't want to watch me do all 6. Or do you? Probably not. So I'm going to do the G string and show you how I'm going to put more winds on the G string. And then it's pretty much rinse and repeat after that. Try to make this short and sweet. So, string end. G string is the 3rd from the highest. I'm telling myself this so I don't screw up. So, through she goes. See if I can get it through there. Let's see here. Yeah, it's gonna fight me. Go ahead, fight me. It's gonna fight me all the way. Oh boy. Come on, string. It should just go right through. In normal circumstances, this would just go right through. Sometimes they're hard to fish through, like this is being. This helps build your dexterity with your fingers. There, it went through. Now, as you're feeding it up through, I don't know if this is an issue on that telly I gave you, Alyssa, but I think it is string through body. So pay attention to where your string comes through your saddles. It needs to come through the center of the saddle, right? And then, let's see here. There's like an eye hole in the saddle. Now I'm gonna go ahead and crimp that string on the saddle a little bit. That may be prematurely, actually. That's a little bit early to crimp. But so here we go. I'm gonna wind 1, hold it down with my thumbnail, 2, hold it down with both thumbnails for a second, and I'm really, you can't see, I'm really holding that string down with my right hand while I feed the loose end through with my left hand. There it is. I've got it. Got it through. I'm going to take my pliers, yoink, bend, right? And then immediately pull tension, right? I'm holding it down while I turn the peg. I can stretch this some a little bit. There we go. I have no idea where G is, and that's going to make me look foolish. That might be a G. It probably is nowhere near it. But, so, let's stretch this thing. Right? Notice I'm holding it down on the fretboard while I'm doing this stretch. Right? I don't want it flying off my nut and tearing up my nut and going all over the place, and I'm just stretching it. But look how much I'm stretching it. Right? Like, I mean, if I'm bending, a step and a half, I'm going inches, or like an inch. So this is just the kind of bend you would do playing, really. Right? So I'm going to call that a G. I'm going to call this relatively done, with the exception of 4 more strings to go. And here goes Max. He's going to be in this video. Good night, Max. Good night. Good night. See ya. That's it. That's how you change your strings. Good luck.